Hi everyone, this is Bev. I have really been enjoying the new story card dies, and I wanted to show you some beautiful background basics for using these dies. So let's get started. Now the first thing I want to show you is the card that I'm going to make, and it's this little photo card. And to make the background for that photo card was pretty simple. I started with a piece of white cardstock, and it's 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. Now if you're really good with die cutting, you can actually use just a 3 by 4 card. I took the story card die and I laid it down onto my cutting plate along with that white piece of cardstock. And then I used some simple painter's tape to adhere it down. Now to make that painter's tape a little less sticky, I just ran it over some fabric. I think it was a fleecy sweatshirt sleeve to make it less sticky. Now if you're a frugal paper crafter and you use 12 by 12 inch paper, you could have used a 3 by 4 inch piece of cardstock to start with and then just made sure that you aligned this die very carefully when you were getting ready to die cut. I also want to tell you that this die set comes as a digital die set, so if you are a digital cutting machine expert, you could also make all of these elements with your digital cutting machine. Now, I'm going to be using the photo corners on this project that came with this same die set, but I've already done a whole bunch of these both with the digital die cutting machine and running it through the regular normal steel die cutting machine. So I'm just going through my little pile of extras and pulling out some of those photo corners. And as you can see, I've got quite the little collection going that includes patterned paper and cardstock. Now I've also cut out a picture of my daughter, and it's 2.5 by 3 inches, and I cut that so that it would have a nice little border on the showing of the white. And then part of my design process is to lay the pieces down onto the background and think about how they're going to fit together. And in this case, I'm going to be using the Important Stuff stamp set and a stamp on there that says created by and on this day, and I'm going to use that down at the bottom. Now I also lay the stamp onto the project so that I can get a feel for whether the other elements are all going to fit together and play together nice on that background. And once I have that stamp lined up, I'm going to just use the block to pick up that stamp. And I'm going to position that block so that it aligns with the bottom of that card, the white card in the background. And that gives me another tool for aligning it when I'm ready to stamp. Now, to help prepare the paper for the ink, I'm using some embossing powder. This is not the type of powder that you heat emboss. This is the type of stuff that you use for pre-embossing, and it helps just prepare the surface for ink. It reduces static and it keeps the ink from bleeding. Now, I love pigment ink, and I'm using the Blue Lagoon VersaFine ink here, and I'm just patting it down onto that stamp so that I get nice even coverage. And then I'm using the bottom of the block and the stamp to help me line up and get it perfectly placed on that background. Once I have it stamped, I'm going to go ahead and use just a little bit more of that powder. And you'll notice I'm just tapping it down. I'm not going to really swipe it. So just patting it down, and that just helps to set the ink. And then I can tap off any excess ink onto my background cutting mat and just wipe it off with a baby wipe or something like that, or any sort of thing that you can wipe it up with. Now to finish this off, I would just adhere down the photo, adhere down those little photo corners, and fill in whatever I wanted to into that stamped space that says created by and on this day. Now I wanted to show you some other projects that feature this story card die. Here's a journaling card that I made, and I'm going to use it in a pocket page. This is just a small pocket page, not a full-size one. And then I'm going to use that element with my daughter's picture in the photo corners in the other pocket. So here's an example of how you could make a pocket page using the story card dies. Mendi Yoshikawa made this layout, and she used the story card die in the background to make each of the elements on this layout. So it's just a white piece of cardstock that she die cut with the story card die, and then she used some pattern paper over on the other side that was die cut out for the background for that photo of the teacher and her daughter. She layered on top some of the other dies from our card die collection, and you can learn more about those on our website. Now, I also wanted to show you this hello card, and it's made using that same white background, but in this case, I'm going to put it onto a card base and show you that you can also use these story card dies to make beautiful cards. I hope you enjoyed seeing how I made this photo card and used the story card die elements to make this project. If you'd like to see more how-to videos like this one, sign up for our newsletter or visit our blog. Thanks for watching.